It's so cold out here. Batteries aren't working on the megaphone. Shut us out, everybody.
We gotta recognize this and fight against this hatred and work on the systems that perpetuate this. Because immigrant lives matter. Black lives matter. There are no illegal human beings on stolen land. Every person is deserving of dignity and respect and access to resources. We need to defund ICE, defund the police, work on de-escalation, social work, instead of just criminalizing the people who are put in that position. Because when you have no resources, you do what you have to do.
We have always gone our own way with herbs. That's nature's way, uncompromising in the way we test and test and test, and persistent with the way we source our herbs from nature.
Don't let them take anyone out.
You're right.
So cold, like ice.
Oh, and by the way, there is a medic team in the Comprehend. If you need any medical help, they have 3 triage rooms. They have water. They will help you if you get tear gas. So make sure to remember, Comprehend.
Everybody, Hawkeye! Years ago, fought fascism like many of you. My father fought fascism like many of your fathers, like many of your grandfathers. There was 100 years ago a certain class of people and race of people that were rounded up by Nazis in Germany, and the people at the time didn't speak up on their behalf, which led to 6 million innocent lives being killed. You all have a voice. We all have a voice.
Tap the screen, everybody. Tap the screen. Tap the screen. Tap the screen.
Energy.
Tap the screen, everybody.
a Nazi out of our city a couple weeks ago, and he was going back to Florida.
Yeah. What's up, Scotland? Everyone, tap the screen, reshare this, repost it. If you're not following me, hit the follow
Do
button.
not let your voice be extinguished. This evil needs to be spoken out against, just like the generations in our country did before, to fight fascism. That's exactly the moment that we're in right now.
What's up, London? What's up, Netherlands?
Citizens of Minneapolis.
What's up, Norway?
We
Canada?
gotta fight because we are at the forefront of this battle. And it isn't a battle against Donald Trump, Kristi Noem, Covino, and all the Nazis that are trying to take over our country.
Tap the screen, everybody. Tap the screen. Tap, tap, tap.
Thank you.
Add this to your story. Add this to your story. If you want to gift, the Venmo link is in my bio. We're in Minneapolis. Thousands of people out here. Tap the screen, everybody. Don't forget to eat today. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go in soon. My hands are frozen. My hands are frozen. It is negative 20 right now with the wind chill. GT is on the other side. Tap the screen, everybody. I don't see good trouble. GT is in all black.
In America, we came here when he was home. We grew up with 4 siblings. 2 of my siblings. 2 of my siblings.
We can hear the chanting, but it seems peaceful.
Yeah, and I do want to apologize for any profanity you might hear. It's kind of intermixed within the chanting, but nothing has really changed since we last checked in. I haven't seen any Minneapolis police officers, federal agents, or state troopers come back out to 26th and Nicollet since they left. And if you kind of look, this is the scene still. You know, you can see now the barricades that they're using. Before you couldn't, because there were so many people on this side. You can see there's dumpsters, I've seen mattresses, I've seen chairs. So people have dragged these over from nearby places and placed them here in this intersection. They also have 25th and Nicollet blocked off. Same thing. They brought dumpsters down, big, small. I also see them brought some fencing down there as well. And they're trying to keep federal agents out of this intersection. You know, the speakers that we've heard from have saying these are our streets. They want ICE out of Minneapolis. We've seen people kind of on top of rooftops just sitting and observing and looking at the scene. I've seen someone with a stop sign that they took down and have come down here. People are still coming to this scene here. Some people are leaving intermittently, but there's still more people coming. We kind of have chaplains, people in these bright orange vests that say chaplain on them. They say they're just kind of walking around, observing, making sure everything stays peaceful and everyone is doing okay. We've also seen people in peaceful observer vests. They're kind of a bright yellow reflective. They also say, don't shoot on the back. Now,
all right, Jessica, I'm going to interrupt you just a moment now because we want to head out to a news conference with the BCA. Here's Drew Evans.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Drew Evans, and I am the superintendent of the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. The public in the state of Minnesota expects that when a person is killed in one of our communities, an independent, thorough, and transparent investigation is conducted into that incident to fully understand what occurred, and enforcement authority is involved in the deadly force encounter. Minnesotans not only expect this, but they deserve this. That's what our BCA Force Investigations Unit does. For years now, our independent unit has investigated the majority of use of deadly force incidents in our state. That's true for entities like the BCA, and it's common practice across the United States. That includes incidents involving federal officers and other high-profile incidents like that occurred in the city of Minneapolis and across our state, not only in recent months, but in recent years. Our highly trained independent team of investigators, crime scene personnel, are experts at conducting these types of investigations. This is all they do. We do not make decisions about guilt or innocence, but we compile the facts of the incident for review by proper prosecutorial authorities, both at the state and federal levels. This morning, I was in contact with the Minneapolis Police Department after the incident that you're all familiar with now. They requested our Force Investigations Unit respond to the scene and conduct such an independent investigation as we have in other recent incidents in the city of Minneapolis. What occurred was our team responded to the scene, and I was in contact with federal authorities to inform them that that was going to occur and that we were responding to the scene in Minneapolis. When our team arrived, they were blocked by federal agents with the Department of Homeland Security from accessing the scene. We worked with them and we're in contact with the FBI, trying to attempt to access the scene so we can gather evidence to understand what occurred and work through this process. Our team also secured a search warrant for the scene, which is an unusual move in a public area like that, but we did that attempting to have judicial approval to enter the scene to gather evidence. We were once again blocked by federal authorities to go in and do that scene examination. We have a long history of working side by side with the Federal Bureau of Investigation on all types of cases. That's true in other high-profile incidents that you've seen in officer-involved shootings, and that remains the case that we do and will be going forward. They're excellent partners to us as an organization, but unfortunately, in these recent events, others outside of the state are making decisions that that does not occur. So we will continue to investigate this case and others that we have recently been involved with, but I would be remiss if I didn't state that it will be difficult to obtain all of the evidence and information contained without cooperation. It is my understanding at this time that this case is now being led by the Department of Homeland Security Investigations as an investigation into this matter, and not the FBI leading that at this point in time. As the FBI gathered information and conducted crime scene evaluation, they left. After they left, we were attempting to move in to do our own scene examination once we can access the scene, but federal agents that cleared the scene, as was previously said, the state and local police that were on scene from the beginning of this, providing protection of that scene alongside federal agents trying to allow us to do our work, were unable to hold that scene, and it got overrun with protesters in the area, and we were not able to re-examine that scene. I'm aware, and our team is aware, of the videos that you've seen, and we welcome additional information provided to our team going forward that will continue a full investigation to the best of our ability of what we have. And we will do that, as we always have, fairly independently in that process, and transparently, as we do in every investigation, and provide that without recommendation to the county attorney's office for review. You know, we're in uncharted territory here. It's been a long-standing understanding, both within our state and across the country, that entities like the BCA that conduct 80+% of officer-involved shooting investigations across the United States are asked to do these investigations of federal agents involved in officer-involved shootings. There certainly can be a new process going forward if the federal government would like to do that, and federal agencies, but that has not been a discussion that's been had so that we can provide clear understanding to citizens to understand what that process will be. And so we will continue to investigate this case. We welcome cooperation. I continue to ask that we provided access to any information that's necessary to do a complete investigation, and that we want to work together with all of our federal partners so that we can really understand what occurs in any of these cases. An officer-involved shooting is an incredibly complex incident, regardless of the video that you see. And the only way to really, truly understand what occurred is to have a full investigation of the matter so that we can really understand what we all see that happens in a very short period of time that is often incredibly complex and requires a very thorough and large investigation to really understand what occurs in those very few moments that we often see.
Walk into Super Saver and discover a welcoming shopping experience where low prices meet high quality.
As it's clear to us, and it's clear to all of us in Minnesota, that we at the state and local level have an expectation when something happens in our communities, that an investigation not only is done by our federal partners, but also by state and locals into various incidents as we see them. The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension and our Force Investigations Unit is committed to continuing to work on these sorts of incidents and conduct those independent investigations at the request of our local partners. Whenever that happens, Minnesotans deserve that so that they can fully understand what occurred in each and every one of these incidents, so they can really have an understanding of what occurred each time something happens in our communities. With that, I'd be happy to answer questions.
So to be clear, you said you got a subjudicial warrant to gain access and were still denied by federal agents?
Yes, that's accurate. The question was, we had a signed warrant and we were still denied access to the scene. That's accurate, correct.
How uncharted is that? And have you had any contact? You said that you understand DHS is leading it now. Have you had contact since then? And is there any reason to believe that there is now a new way forward?
Yeah, the question was if I had any contact since it's my understanding DHS is running this investigation. I attempted to contact the individual that I was told was the overall commander at the scene, and I have not received a call back from them. We will continue to work together to gather that and make that contact and understand their process, but we have not had contact yet today. We were not able to do really any work at the scene once we had access because it was quickly overrun and overtaken. That being said, we have been out talking to witnesses, gathering information, gathering various video, and we'll continue to do that work. You saw in the recent shooting in North Minneapolis, if and when it's prudent and we need to, we can always return at a different time if there's relevant evidence at the scene. The question is, do we know the identity of the federal agents involved in the shooting? Not only on this case, but the other two that have happened, the federal entity, Department of Homeland Security in particular, does not provide us that information. They have not provided us that information in this case as well. Yeah. So the question is, how do we ensure a thorough investigation if we weren't provided access to the information? It's complicated. You know, that's why the long history of jointly working investigations when the federal entities conduct their own investigation is really important. And we have a long established process of doing that, and we welcome that now, where we parallel investigations where they share information with us. And to be clear, the BCA will share what we obtain in our investigation with them. To say that we can do this in the manner that our team normally does, which is a very strict and established protocol, that obviously is disrupted. When we don't have access to the crime scene, we don't have the ability to map the scenes that we normally would in that process. So it will be compromised in some level of getting all of that. The hope is that we'll use all the different tools available to take different paths to do the best that we can with the information that we do have. Yeah. So the question was about the warrant and then access to the scene. We took the step of getting the search warrant because we denied access to the scene. So we thought that we'd be able to get access to the scene, much like we would anywhere else, by having an independent judge agree that we have probable cause to investigate the incident at the scene. It provided the information to the Department of Homeland Security, and they said that this was a scene and matter being investigated by the federal government, and they would not allow us physical access to the scene. Each and every day, BCA agents and local law enforcement across Minnesota are conducting violent crime investigations, drug investigations, human trafficking. We work together with the federal government all of the time. This is a situation where we're in a different place for a variety of reasons when it comes to this, and we need to find a path forward. You've heard various people say that we need to look to turn the temperature down. I look to turn the temperature down not only because of the situation that all of us want to be in across the state of Minnesota, to be safe in our homes and communities each and every day, but importantly, we aren't in a position where there is a standoff between local, state, and federal law enforcement authorities. We have a long history of working together in partnership, and we need to keep in mind that we're all safer, we're all better together when we can do that collectively together. The questions, can I confirm the identity? I'm aware of what's being reported. That's who we believe the individual to be, but the medical examiner will be the one to officially identify them, or at least provide us permission to do that. The second part of the question was, do we know the location of the officers involved? And the answer is, I do not know. So the question was, have I ever had a situation where federal authorities denied access to a scene? Not in my, 20 plus years at the BCA and a situation like that. There's certainly investigations for, national security and sensitive reasons we wouldn't have a line of sight into, nor would it be our position to ask for information in those particular instances. In instances where there's really concurrent federal and state jurisdiction over a matter, I'm not aware of an instance where that's ever happened. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so we were just listening in there to officials from the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension speaking on this shooting involving an agent. Now, as we are coming back away from that, we actually do have some news here from DHS, where we are learning that rioters bit off an officer's finger, accompanied by some graphic images that we are not going to show you here on air. But we are going to put up this post here from spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin. This is what she had to say. In Minneapolis, these rioters attacked our law enforcement officer, and one of them bit off our HSI officer's finger, and he will lose his finger. This just being posted here moments ago to social media. Once again, this is coming in from spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin. As we are learning there that the rioters, she accompanied that picture to this post, saying that our law enforcement officer and one of them bit off our HSI officer's finger. He will lose his finger. So we just wanted to share that post here with you as we wait to learn a bit more about that, but that did just come out there on social media. I also wanted to let you know that in a matter of really minutes here, in 45 minutes, we are expected to hear from DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. She will be speaking at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, we're going to bring that to you uninterrupted, as we always do here on Live Now from Fox. We are going to step away for a commercial break, continuing our coverage in just 2 short minutes. We'll be right back. We'll check back with authorities are coming.
This video is Yes, I will show you the video in a moment, but let me first of all tell you that we've just been told that President Trump has now been briefed on the shooting in Minneapolis. That's according to a White House official. We have no more word on his reaction to the shooting. I wonder whether he was watching that news conference that we just heard there. Let's have a look at the footage. We're not going to show the whole of it. We're going to show a portion of it. This is the moment leading up to the shooting of this 37-year-old man. I should warn you, it is upsetting.
They're doing too much, man. They keep pushing people, you know?
Filmed there by a bystander. You can hear music in the background. I think that person was standing in a shop or a cafe when they filmed it. Incredibly distressing to see. We've paused the moment of what we now know was a moment of death because that 37-year-old has been pronounced
dead, and we're getting a little bit more detail now on the version of events, and clearly there are differing versions of events. But as far as the federal government is concerned, the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, for whom these people who you can see firing the tear gas here, this is who they work for. Now, they say that they were in the process of carrying out their work, which is to detain people they believe to be in the country illegally. And as they were doing that, someone else got involved, and that person was armed, that there was a scuffle, and then for their own safety, the ICE officers opened fire. And the result was that person was shot dead. They say that first aid was administered immediately afterwards, but that the man was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, as I say, there are clearly multiple different views of this, both literally in terms of camera phones that were filming this as it happened and the aftermath. There are also different views or interpretations of what happened. And what we don't yet know is he may well have been armed. And I think I heard, Jonathan, I don't know if you heard the same, but I think I heard them say that they believe the man had a gun license and a license to carry, which is legal. It is allowed in Minnesota. So what we don't know is whether he was brandishing that weapon, threatening the ICE agents, or whether he was simply carrying it, but not. He would perhaps argue for his own defense. These are details that we simply don't have the answers to yet. But in such a politically charged environment, it will be very hard to ascertain precisely what happened. And of course, people on different sides of this will tend to believe different things. But as you can see from these latest images coming out of Minneapolis, there is no question this is an incredibly charged situation that continues to unfold in this Midwestern city.
I'm not have the Fourth Amendment or the 14th Amendment because of you. You have a help it. Sir, no ready to back up and go. Hold up and go. It's all done here. Clean up. This is what community looks like. 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 All right. 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 You're ice, motherfucker! I saw you! And I sure as hell was your fat fucking ass! I know you, baby! I know it's you! These two are for sure ice, because I've been out here all morning! And I can fucking tell, you lazy piece of shit! Woo! I can tell! Listen, don't say they keep murdering people! They're gonna keep murdering people! I I'll get you 100%! These cops gotta go too! They're already doing it. Peacefully protest. Bro, all that peaceful bullshit. Get this shit out of here. Yeah, you got to go in. You're not going to destroy nothing. My family live here. And I even did okay then. Come on, bro. But you not going to be over here destroying shit. My auntie can't get her medicine and all that to deal with her cancer.
Just don't interact.
Are we fucking serious? My family live here. So do we. We all do too. We're not family, bro. We're not family. Exactly. These fuckers out. They're gonna kill them. Put them on your back. So what's going on inside? There's a fucking I know he's scared to win. I don't need that. I don't need to. Hop up and go.
I don't understand. Why is it this intersection? Is this where the murder was? Are you not allowed to talk? You just have to use robots? I'm just curious. Like, why? Like, is this the murder scene? And no one can go through the intersection? That's so stupid. Why can't you guys talk? Is that weird to you? Like, no conversations, just... I'm just gonna pretend to be robot. Weird. This is just the strangest shit I've ever. Yeah? No. Hi. What the fuck? What are you grabbing? Yeah, you're gonna blast us? Yeah?
Ready? Let me know before. I'm gonna get down. I'm just about to put a mask on. Why are you so mad that we're murdering people? Why are you so mad? This society is serious. It's like you are fucking just angry, huh? Hop up and go. Hurry up. We didn't kill anybody. We didn't fucking murder anyone. Got to clean up this mess at work over there. I know that. I thought they thought it was dead next to you. Yeah, stand down, stand down. No, we're moving.
I wish I could pay for live sports for just one day.
Yeah. Yes, and I will say, Reg and Suze, I want you to look at this. This is, as I try not to slip and fall, but this is things that people have just shown up and dropped off. These are eye wash. These are water bottles. These are earplugs. People are asking if there's hand warmers in here. There is hand warmers here. So again, these are people who just come up and drop these things off. I can tell you that when we got hit just a second ago, as the chemical agents started to walk over us, we started walking away. So someone handed me a bottle of water, and so the crowd's starting to come back. The smoke is clearing literally. But again, we're going to continue to watch what happens here. And you can also see, though, last thing I want to point out, we are starting to see barricades, or at least an attempt to barricade multiple blocks here of Nicollet headed north towards downtown. And so, again, there's going to be some moment where they try and get these federal agents out of here. It has not happened yet, I can tell you that.
disgrace for law enforcement. Fucking disgrace. Not go behind them. Not go behind the wall. Stay on the sidewalk. Not from behind them. What? Stand down. No, no. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, I appreciate you. Woo! I appreciate you, brother. We're good. Get up!
Here's to the go-getters. And not just the ones in the gym.
Thank you all for being here. I'll have a short statement, then I'll turn it over to Department of Public Safety Commissioner Bob Jacobson to update the situation, joined here by Hennepin County Sheriff Witt, State Patrol Colonel, and General Menke, the Adjutant General of the Minnesota National Guard. Well, as I said last week, this federal occupation of Minnesota long ago stopped being a matter of immigration enforcement. It's a campaign of organized brutality against the people of our state. And today that campaign claimed another life. I've seen the videos from several angles, and it's sickening. But I have a strong statement here for our federal government. Minnesota's justice system will have the last word on this. It must have the last word. As I told the White House in no uncertain terms this morning, the federal government cannot be trusted to lead this investigation. The state will handle it, period. Let me say something else, and this is critically important. All of us understand what happened this morning and the tragedy of it, and my deepest sympathies to the family of a 37-year-old Minnesota resident, a lawful firearm concealed permit carrier, something that I've been lectured to by Republicans for decades. It is not only your right, it's your duty. We know that the potential to further inflame tensions is high, and to Minnesotans, there's a difference. We want calm and peace and normalcy back to our lives. They want chaos. We cannot and we will not give them what they want by meeting violence with violence. Minnesota and our local law enforcement, as you have seen, have done everything possible to de-escalate. Local media has reported extensively on the cooperation to de-escalate this situation. Donald Trump, I call on you once again, remove this force from Minnesota. They are sowing chaos and violence. We've seen deadly violence from federal agents again and again and again. But in contrast to that, on these frozen streets, what you witnessed yesterday was the best of Minnesotans, peacefully exercising their First Amendment rights. And I attended in the church basement hundreds of Minnesotans from all faith, packing care packages for families that have been ripped apart. Despite the horrific acts by this federal government, Minnesotans are standing up for the rule of law. They're protesting loudly and urgently, but peacefully. It must stay that way, Minnesota. Minnesotans are witnessing, and we're creating a log of evidence for the future prosecution of ICE agents and officials responsible for this. They're helping their neighbors. They're walking their kids to school. They're feeding families. I salute their courage and their restraint, and I call on all Americans to see the decency that this state is exhibiting and the horrific cruelty, unprofessional, absolute abomination that is passing for what these ICE agents are doing on our streets. They think they can provoke us into abandoning our values. Well, they're dead wrong. We'll keep the peace. We'll secure the justice with our neighbors, and we'll see this occupation end. Minnesotans and Minnesota law enforcement that continuously is being denigrated by this administration will continue to be the adults in the room, the professionals in the room, the decent human beings in the room that will keep the peace. With this, I'd like to turn it over to Department of Public Safety Commissioner Bob Jacobson to update you on the situation as we know it.
Thank you, Governor. I'm Bob Jacobson, Commissioner of Public Safety for the Department of Public Safety, and again, it's my honor to serve in that position. A man was shot and killed this morning in Minneapolis. I want to pause and remember what cannot get lost in this moment. A man died. His family and friends are feeling unimaginable heartbreak and trauma. And I know Minnesotans and I know our community will rally around this man's family and friends to support him. I also understand clearly that people are upset. They're scared, they're confused. And I want to assure you that this state's public safety officials and our local law enforcement partners are doing everything in our power to get answers, to help return a sense of normalcy back to our communities. You have the right to demonstrate peacefully. We recognize that demonstrations are often driven by strong emotions, beliefs, and a desire to be heard. But please, please remain peaceful. I want to say it again that because it is important and it is critical. Peacefully demonstrate. By doing so, you help local authorities to get answers. You help us to do our investigations. By remaining peaceful, you help ensure nobody else may be killed or injured. The thousands and thousands of people who gathered yesterday in Minneapolis proved that Minnesotans can make their voices heard peacefully, and they can do so without violence, and they can do so without destruction. State resources are available and ready to support our local law enforcement partners as requested. And those resources include the Minnesota State Patrol, the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, and the Minnesota National Guard. With that, we'll stand for questions.
Well, I spoke twice this morning, shortly after I received the call of this shooting. I spoke with the President's Chief of Staff, and first request was to get her people out of there, to get these federal agents out of there. They were going to cause more chaos. And second call is, with no uncertain terms, that we will investigate this. We will not be stonewalled. What we've already seen, and you saw it this morning, before any investigation is done, you have the most powerful people in the federal government spinning stories and putting up pictures, and unrelated people who we don't know anything about, and a picture of a firearm to try and spin a narrative. And I ask Americans, this will end when enough Americans say this will end. Do I have any confidence Donald Trump will do the right thing? No, I don't have a lot of confidence Donald Trump will do the right thing. I do have a lot of confidence that the majority of the American people will do the right thing. And I think there cannot be very many people across this country looking right now, after all the reporting that's been done, after everything that's been said under the pretense that they are here about immigration reform, and quit referring to these people as law enforcement. They are not law enforcement. We have law enforcement who do an incredible job. And to listen to Greg Bobino denigrate the work of our people who are out there cleaning up their mess, no, I don't have a lot of confidence that he himself will do it. But here's what I do have confidence in. There's a whole lot of Republicans, for whatever reason, cannot find their spine. But they might find the ability to know that they're not going to win another election as long as they live, unless they stand up for what's right, and stand up for the rule of law, and stand up for human decency, and that's the moment. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good question. And look, I speaking to the people of Minnesota right now, I hear that scream from you, and I'll continue to plead and ask you for peace. And I know the answer is, you ask us for peace and we give it, and we get shot in the face on the streets coming out of a donut shop. We cannot give them what they want. I don't know how to say this in so many terms to watch the madness that we've witnessed over this last week coming out of the White House and what it's doing here. My confidence is, and I say it to Minnesotans, as I've said, exercise your First Amendment rights, speak out, bear witness and document legally. But I understand the risk in that. And I understand the courage that it takes to have people out there doing this. Thank God we have video. Because according to DHS, these 7 heroic guys took an onslaught of a battalion against them or something. It's nonsense, people. It is nonsense and it's lies. So my confidence is this, Minnesotans. You know who you are, and you demonstrate it every single day, and we damn sure know who these people are. The American public knows, and this needs to be the event that says enough. Go ahead. No, I'm up front.
The question was related to whether or not the BCA is on the ground currently in the investigation, and a reference to previous investigations that the BCA have attempted to be a part of. What I'll tell you right now is that we no longer have BCA agents or public safety, state patrol, or Minneapolis on the ground at that crime scene. What I will tell you, and not to get further into the investigation, but DHS pulled out of the scene, leaving that to Minnesota State Patrol, Minneapolis. We did not have enough resources to be able to hold that ground safely, and we had to leave that scene because of the number of people that were available and the safety of those in the public and the safety of our teams. We were able to get there, but at that time, we're not able to hold that scene to do a crime scene investigation. I can't talk any more about those details. We'll have more on that, but the BCA is engaged and involved, and we are working at the request of the Minneapolis Police Department on this, on the scene and in this investigation. So we are there, we're available. We want to make sure that we continue to work on this and engage with our federal law enforcement. But at this point, we don't have anything more to share about the crime scene. Again, we were not able to hold it. We wanted to make sure and keep people safe, but federal law enforcement was on the scene and left us there.
Yeah, yes, the answer is yes, we have, as we said last week, and we staged those troops. I'll have General Menke talk about where they're at, and again, use this as an opportunity to stress to Minnesotans the frustration you have, and as you saw this, they killed a man, created chaos, pushed down protesters, threw gas indiscriminately, and then left the scene, and then we're left to clean up. I understand the anger. I understand trying to parse who were the law enforcement on the scene when you got there after a man was killed is difficult for the folks who are out there. But I can't stress enough, our goal, and I'll have General Menke talk about what the role of these Guard troops are in conjunction with the incredible work of the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, from mutual aid across, and of course the state patrol, of trying to get to the point where what we're saying is we can handle this, and Minnesotans can express their First Amendment rights and have our folks on the streets and get these people out of here. And so, John, if you want to talk a little bit, but the answer is yes, there's activated. He can talk to you about numbers. Yeah.
So the question is, what's the National Guard doing right now? So we have, we have been on state active duty for over a week. So we've had soldiers prepared in the metro area to respond in a much rapid manner than if they were not mobilized. So we have a request from the Hennepin County Sheriff to support them, and that is to help them free up additional resources for other work that they need to do. And we have started coordinating with them this morning on that, and that first area of support will be assisting them with their requirement to provide security to the Whipple building. So we'll be helping them there. And then we are in parallel planning with other organizations within the state of Minnesota, to include the State Patrol, the Minnesota DNR, and other local agencies to render assistance if requested. I would say that the number that we have is adequate for the requests that we have right now, and I will also tell you that we are bringing more resources that will be able to respond in a timely manner that are not fully mobilized yet, but we are mobilizing more soldiers as we talk at this time. I'd like not to get into specific numbers for an operational security standpoint, but right now we have all the resources to meet the requests that we have.
I would note on this one too that we'll be billing the federal government for the cost of the National Guard because they are incurring the costs that are falling on us by their reckless actions. Yes, sir. I'm rejecting the rush to judgment within 15 minutes of this, which they did last time. That's why you need to have a fair investigation. And that's why a video can show one thing, but what happened beforehand. But they already will slander this individual. They've already made this the case. And I will just say you will all start to see it. Some of you probably have. There's multiple angles of this. And I'll go back to what we talked about before. They're telling you not to trust your eyes and ears, not to trust the facts that you're seeing in front of them. And at some point in time, the reporting, and I think the reporting this week has been spectacular across Minnesota, that there's not two sides to every story. But in this situation, what I'm saying is we need to have a fair investigation, understanding what's happening and held accountable. We continue to hear, and we heard it from the vice president, that these folks can do whatever they want. They can have full immunity. And what I'm telling you is they will not. There will be justice to Minnesotans. Continue to gather the information. So I won't say where it is because I think it's irresponsible to make that judgment. But what I see with my eyes and what you're going to see with your eyes makes that pretty hard to believe. And I would imagine as a federal officer, they would have come out and sounded like these professionals sound and say, we need to gather the information. We need to gather all the facts. We need to put them forward, and then we can make some informed decision based on the fact. They've written the narrative already. And the audacity to critique the police chief of Minneapolis after what work that those heroic officers are trying to do, and to be critiqued by this guy. I mean, I don't know. I've said it a lot, but America, as you're listening, enough is enough. Enough is enough of this. End this. End this. And we see them moving to Maine. If you're in Boston, you're in Chicago, you're in Philly, you're in Miami, it doesn't matter. We can't live like this. Our children are in trauma. A 5-year-old, you saw the picture, the bunny hat and the Spider-Man. These are not like some narrative to throw around or parade around in some coat you had made and act like you're a tough guy or whatever. These are people's lives, and we have rule of law. So I'll let the investigation play itself out. We will do our best to find it, but I don't know. You kill a man and then you just leave. Your law enforcement just leave it. Is there a single case in American history where you just like walk away and say, I guess that just happened and we're not going to clean up our mess? I'm proud of Minnesotans. I'm proud of law enforcement here and our partners, and we'll get to the bottom of it. I think we have time for another one. So, yes, ma'am. I'm better off to let these guys, the professionals, I have my thoughts.
So the question was, what are we doing to assist federal law enforcement on getting violent criminals off the street, if I understand the question? State and local law enforcement are always ready and willing and able to arrest violent offenders. We do not stand down from that, no matter where we get that information from. If there are violent offenders or violent criminals or violent crimes, we will investigate and we'll bring those to justice. If the federal government would like to work with us, to continue to work with us as they have in the past, to locate those violent offenders, we are always open to those discussions and always willing to assist. We do not ignore that. We are ready and able, and we do that. All of you as part of the media hear us arresting violent offenders all the time. We have not stood down. That is our mission. The federal government is not alone in arresting violent offenders. State and local law enforcement does that every day at great risk to their life, at great risk to the community. We do it because we want a safe Minnesota, and the federal government is not the only one to do that.
Another plan left behind? You're not alone. Start smarter. For real this time. Strength, cardio, recovery. All connected, all working for you. Smart guidance, tailored to you, fits naturally into your day.
Advice for how you can protect your family and be prepared for the storm that is coming. We have 17 different
on Sunday. So get ready. An ice storm is under
updating because I'm really pissed off at this winter storm. It's a joke. And this video is graphic. Let me show you what we've got. What you hear at the end of that appear to be gunshots. Senator Tina Smith has just posted another catastrophic shooting in Minneapolis by federal agents. We're gathering more information, but ICE must leave now so Minneapolis Police Department can secure the scene and do their job. Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty has posted, we're aware of reports of a federal agent having shot an individual in Minneapolis this morning. We are working with the BCA to coordinate a state response. Senator Amy Klobuchar has tweeted, there's been another shooting involving federal agents in Minneapolis. I'm working to get more information. I will update as soon as possible. To the Trump administration and the Republicans in Congress who stood silent, get ICE out of our state now. I'm going to just grab the tweet from Tim Walz as well, who has said that he has spoken with the president and that ICE needs to get out of the state now. Alex Tabbitt was pointing out that typically after a shooting like this, they want to get law enforcement in. Okay, so let's just listen in. Something's going on here. You see somebody being dragged away there. The shots you are hearing, you saw shots and then you immediately saw this tear gas. That is tear gas. That's not pepper spray. You're also, the loud sound suggests that it could be a combination of or flashbang grenades. You are seeing photographers. You're seeing officers tell people to get out of the way. Now you see, look right in front of you. Look at those are all officers with their weapons raised. We do not know whether that's those are live fire weapons or tear gas, but you are hearing tear gas and flashbangs go off. I want to stay with this scene. You are watching this is going on in Minneapolis right now, about an hour and a bit after a reported shooting, which we just showed you a video of. Let's just listen in. Protesters and the ICE officers, or ICE or CBP officers, again, it's impossible to tell, and I'm sorry for that, but if ICE and CBP would actually wear uniforms, we would be able to tell you who they are. There are uniformed police in the area where they may be Minneapolis State Police, they may be Minneapolis Police Department or Minnesota State Police. But at this point, there seems to be some ongoing confrontation between ICE officers and protesters. This is tear gas you're looking at. We did see the officers. Look at this. This guy has his gun out of his holster. We did see ICE officers or CBP officers with pepper spray in their hands. This is not pepper spray. We have heard explosions. Those are most likely tear gas or flashbang grenades. Flashbang grenades are very, very loud, very bright images that are meant to sort of blind you and sort of take your hearing away for a few moments. They can be very, very dangerous. They can damage your hearing and sight permanently. But when you heard the shooting, you immediately saw smoke, which suggests that's tear gas. You heard people coughing, which again suggests that it's tear gas. This confrontation is clearly not under control. It's not over. Again, these do not appear to be Minneapolis police or Minnesota State Police. These appear to be federal officers. Most of them are masked. Some of them have gas masks. Some of them have long guns on them. One we just saw moments ago pull out his handgun and then holster it again. And we are seeing these interactions go on. Alex Tabbitt is on the other side of this. And the way they've done this is they've split the scene. So if you're on one side of it, you're some distance from the other side of it, and it does look like I in trouble getting control of the scene, which is not atypical because this isn't actually what they're trained to do under any circumstances. Remember, this is immigration and customs enforcement. This is not their work, and they seem to be having great difficulty getting this under control. They have protesters who are out there screaming for them to get out of Minneapolis. By the way, that is a view that is shared by Minneapolis police, by Minnesota state officials, by Tim Walsh, who has said, I've just spoken with the White House after another horrific shooting by federal agents this morning. Minnesota has had it. This is sickening. The president must end this operation, pull the thousands of violent, untrained officers out of Minnesota. Now, I've read you posts from Senator Amy Klobuchar, from Senator Tina Smith, from the Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty. This is a developing situation. We're going to stay on this now for a little while.
Call of Duty. So cool, huh?